Good evening, and welcome to the September 23rd, 2020 meeting of the Hyde Park Zoning Board of Appeals. Will each member of the board confirm that he is alone or that no one is present that may influence his vote? As called, please respond yes or no. Secretary, please poll the board.
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes.
Jim Agrawal,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. I've confirmed with the Zoning Board's council that tonight's meeting has been convened in accordance with the Governor's March 13th, 2020 Executive Order 202.1, which suspends certain provisions of the Open Meetings Law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video conferencing. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view tonight's meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. I've done a roll call of the board members, and there is a quorum present for this meeting. I have also confirmed with the zoning secretary that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal notice requirements by posting notice on the town bulletin board and news organization, et cetera, and posting notices on the town's agenda center of its website. We'll now commence with the Pledge of Allegiance. Because of audio synchronization, the only person here will be me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our next meeting will be held on October 28th, 2020. And the first item to be dealt with is the approval of the minutes for our August 26th meeting.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
David McNary, move for the acceptance of the minutes of the August 26th, 2020 meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. And may I have a second?
Second, Jim Agrawal.
Okay. And will the secretary poll the board on that, please?
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes.
Jim Agrawal,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. The first item on our agenda is just going to get a passing note. This is Locust on Hudson, which is a variance from 108.4.3 G2 to allow construction within the stream corridor, change the undisturbed area from 100 feet to 0 feet for construction incursions in the waterfront district. The applicant's representative is advised he will not be present. The public hearing was closed on July 22nd, and a written comment was received from Christopher Schultz and Ines Elskop within the post-public hearing closing period. It should be noted that our zoning officers determined that the ground disturbances are not construction, so no site plan is required. However, a review of the SWPPP plan by our attorney shows that the pond requiring a area variance is part of an 8.2 acre project on a parcel that is contiguous to a historic site, which is the Mills Mansion, also called the Statsburg. According to 6 NY CRR 617.4, Type 1 Actions 9 and 6 NY CRR 617.3G, a full environmental assessment form is required. On receipt of it, the board can then determine what agencies may be involved and proceed with the application. Thus far, that EAF has not been received. The board is continuing to wait for the EAF. So are there any comments from the attorney?
No, just that we're going to be resuming our review of this in the upcoming months.
Okay. Any questions from the zoning officer? Now you're on mute anyway, so we're not going to hear too much from you.
No comments.
That's a lot better. Any comments or questions from board?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
we'll just move along. So we have an application from Mr. Peters, who purchased property from the Hannabergs. And this is a A variance from 108-5.15, changing the front yard setback from 50 feet to 48 feet. And changing the side yard setback from 20 feet to 6 feet for the construction of an attached deck in the neighborhood district. Is Mr. Peters with us?
Yes, I am.
Very good. The public hearing for this application was closed on August 26, 2020, with comments acceptable until September 8th, 2020. And were any public comments received?
No, they weren't.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
None.
No,
Okay. And any questions from the attorney?
No.
Any questions, comments from the zoning officer?
No,
Will Mr. McNary move the motion?
so moved. Resolution to grant area variance to James Peters, 7 West View Drive, resolution number 20-06Z. Whereas the applicant James Peters is seeking an area variance from section 108.5.15, changing the front yard setback from 50 feet to 48 feet and changing the side yard to setback from 20 to 6 feet for a pre-existing attached deck in the neighborhood district at 7 West View Drive, identified as tax parcel 133-200-6163-01-444626-0000. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 267-B town law and Hyde Park zoning law section 108-33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. The granting of the requested variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The deck is a common addition and is shielded from public view due to its location behind the existing garage. The addition will occupy space that is already used by the applicants, and other properties in the area have residential structures similarly located within their front and side yard setbacks. Number 2, the benefits sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than an area variance. The deck is pre-existing and its location is prescribed by the location of the existing septic system. As the dwelling is already located within the front and side yard setbacks, it would be impossible to construct an attached deck without infringing on the setbacks. Number 3, the requested variance from the front yard from 50 to 48 feet is insubstantial and inconsequential, as being as the deck has been placed to the rear of the house. The requested variance to the side yard property line from 20 to 6 feet is substantial but not unreasonable, being as the deck is approximately the same distance from the side property line as the existing garage. Number 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect on or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. The construction of the deck will result in an insufficient ground disturbance and an insufficient increase in impervious surface area at the site. Number 5, the difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following conditions: payment of all fees and escrows.
May I have a second?
Second. Jim.
Jim Agrawal. And will the secretary please poll the board?
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet,
Yes.
carried.
Okay, Mr. Peters, you are all through. Congratulations.
Thank you.
good luck.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
Can I just ask a question, Dave? Could you send me that resolution? Email it to me?
Yes, I will.
I sent it to you already, Linda.
No, I never received it.
I sent it to you. Well, we'll talk about that later.
I will, Linda. I'll forward it to you.
Okay,
Okay, the next application is Roy Charter, 15 Rogers Road. A variance from 108.4.42, changing fence height from 6 feet to 8 feet in the neighborhood district. Is the applicant with us?
He is not.
He is not.
excuse me.
The public hearing for this application was closed on August 26, 2020, with comments acceptable until September 8, 2020. Have any public comments been received?
No.
Are there any questions from the board?
None.
None.
Are there any questions from the attorney?
No.
Any questions from the zoning officer?
No.
Will Mr. Agrawal move the motion?
Yes, I will. Resolution to grant area variance Roy Charter, 15 Rogers Road, dated today, resolution number 20-11Z. Whereas the applicant Roy Charter has submitted an application for an area variance to permit the increase in height for an existing stockade fence from 6 feet to 8 feet, a fence with a length of 64 feet at 15 Rogers Road, identified as tax parcel number 6265-03-172188 in the neighborhood district. And whereas a duly noticed public hearing was held on July 22nd of this year and continued to August 26th of this year via remote meetings held by the Zoning Board of Appeals in accordance with the New York State Governor Cuomo's Executive Order 202.1 and the subsequent extensions thereof, during which all of those who wish to speak were heard. And whereas, now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings of fact. Number one, the applicant seeks the requested variance in order to provide the property as well as the parcel immediately to the south, 9 Rogers Road, tax number 6265-03-172172, with additional privacy. The increase in height of the fence to 8 feet is meant to block the view of the deck and pool at 9 Rogers Road from the applicant's deck. Number two, due to the local topography, the property is situated on a hill alongside the parcel at 9 Rogers Road, and the view from the applicant's deck looks down on the backyard of 9 Rogers Road. Number three, the deck of the adjacent home at 9 Rogers Road is approximately 39 feet from the existing 6-foot stockade style fence that is proposed to be heightened. The applicant alleges that the existing fence is 9 feet from the property line, and a measurement at Dutchess County parcel access indicates that the deck at 9 Rogers Road is 30 foot from the property line. Number four, the applicant's deck is approximately 100 feet from the deck at 9 Rogers Road, according to a measurement at Dutchess County parcel access. 5, the applicant's deck is separated from the above-ground pool at 9 Rogers Road by approximately 145 feet, according to a measurement at Dutchess County parcel access. 6, vegetation between the property and the pool at 9 Rogers Road screens the latter from view. 7, the applicant has alleged that a tree that had screened the view between the two decks was threatening and damaging the dwelling on the property and had therefore been removed. And 8, due to existing vegetation, a 64-foot long fence is not necessary to provide privacy between the two parcels. Number 9, the applicant need only increase the height of approximately 24 feet of the fence in order to obtain the desired screening. 10, the current 64-foot long fence is partially visible from Rogers Road and would be more visible if increased in height to 8 feet. Number 11, the soil in the vicinity of the fence between the two decks is hard, rocky, and not suitable for the planting of vegetation. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings in accordance with section 267-B of the Town Law and Hyde Park Zoning Law, section 108.33.6B2 regarding the requested variance. 1, the requested variance may produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The proposed fence would be 8 feet high and 64 feet long. Such a fence would create a large and imposing structure between the two properties, which may cause a detriment to other property owners in the area. Such a fence would be out of character with the property owners in the area. Such a fence would be out of character with the neighborhood, as other fences in the area comply with the 6-foot limitation. If the increase in fence height were to be limited to a smaller portion of the fence, located to the rear of the dwelling on the property rather than a 64-foot portion, the impact on neighbors and the community would be significantly smaller. The fence would be less imposing and present less of a visual intrusion on the community. 2, the benefits sought by the applicants cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than an area variance. Vegetative screening and an erection of accessory structures such as arbors would be impractical to achieve considering the rocky soil conditions of the backyard. 3, the requested variance of increasing a 64-foot long stockade fence from a height of 6 feet to a height of 8 feet is substantial. 4, the requested variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the general neighborhood or district. The fence already exists, and the granting of a variance for a portion of the fence to a height of 8 feet will not result in any ground disturbance or of an impact on the local environment. 5, the difficulty is self-created. Be it further resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby grants the requested variance subject to the following condition. 1, that the increase in height of the existing fence from 6 feet to 8 feet be limited to a 24-foot section to the rear of the house. 2, that a 3-foot addition at each end of the heightened section tapering from 8 feet to 6 feet be granted for aesthetic purposes. 3, payment of all fees and escrows.
May I hear a second to the
Rich
resolution?
Perkins, second.
And will the secretary please poll the board?
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes?
Herbert Sweet.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Well, if Mr. Charter is watching, good luck. And this process is over for you. Our next application is the Enclave. This is a variance from section 108-24.1F2, changing maximum letter height from 10 inches to 18 inches for the letters T and E, and section 108-24.1F2B, changing the maximum letter height from 10 inches to 24 inches for letters H and L for the entrance sign in the Greenbelt District. And do we have a representative of the Enclave here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Ken Casamento from LRC.
Okay, glad to see you again, Mr. Casamento.
Same here.
So may I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion. Jim Agrawal.
Second.
Okay, and the second?
McNary, second.
Okay, the secretary, we check on that?
Rich Perkins,
Oh,
did you want a roll call?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
yes.
Richard Perkins, David McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes?
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. It's just easier to do it than to wonder when you should and shouldn't. Can't hurt to do it. So, Mr. Casamento, would you give the board a brief description of your project?
As we spoke the last time, this is a rework of the original Meadows at Hyde Park subdivision on Cream Street. There was a sign out on the street originally for that. If you would like, I do have a photo of the original sign. And then the new sign you have in your packet, I can show you that as well. And based on what we've tried to accommodate, we tried to make it a little simpler with just the words of the new subdivision, instead of having all the other coloring and everything else around it. So we thought it was quite simple. But when you look at the correlation to the heights and the letters and the road speeds, the sign company that was working on the project looked at the appropriate heights. And then we looked at the relations, it puts the T, the E, and the H and L's over the 10-inch limit. And that's where we ended up with the sizes for that.
Okay. So, have we received any comments from the public?
No, we have not.
And are there any members of the public in the waiting room who wish to speak?
No, there are not.
Okay. And do we have any comments from the attorney?
No, this time.
Any comments from the zoning officer?
No, I don't.
And any comments from the board?
I don't have any.
No,
Actually, if I may.
Who
Sorry,
said that?
that was Patrick.
Yes, go ahead, Patrick.
Hey, I just wanted to, I'm going to double check my notes to confirm whether or not the previous 239M referral actually did cover the sign itself, because this has been referred to the county before. So I think it might be safer for you to propose a motion to authorize the chair to to refer it to the county if that hasn't occurred already, or if the new application is not covered under the previous referral. And we would almost certainly get a response back within the next 30 days, and it wouldn't affect our ability to move forward with the application.
Okay, we can do that.
If you'd like, you can just say so moved.
Without polling the board?
No, I meant you would not have to repeat my motion.
I've got it. Okay. Okay, so moved, and may I have a second?
Matt McNary, second.
Okay, and will the secretary poll the board?
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes,
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. Okay, now,
If I may chime in on that real quick, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I don't believe there was a sign in the original enclave proposal, otherwise we would have been here several years ago when that subdivision was finally approved. So
Yeah.
I think it's just in our best interest to make sure we circulate it and get it back right away.
I agree, Ken. I figured I could double check the
That's
county's
great.
previous response to see if they even did mention signs.
Okay, I appreciate that.
okay, so let's see, any questions from the board?
none.
Do we have a do we have a picture in our package?
Yes, yes, you do.
Uh,
Okay,
the process then will be that Patrick will check. We will come back next time to complete our approval. Is that correct?
The process would be that we will check to confirm that whether or not a 239 referral is necessary. If so, you have already authorized your chair to send that out at this meeting. So he could send it out in the next day or two. We would almost certainly get a response from the county back before your next meeting. And if you wanted to vote on the application at that time, you would be able to.
well, we won't be able to close the public hearing until we hear back from the one way or the other.
No, you could close the public hearing before you hear back from the county.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
If you say so.
We need
Okay.
to close the public hearing?
Well, we've dealt with all the issues. No one has any questions. And the only thing outstanding is 239M that Patrick just mentioned. I would have thought we would have had to held the public hearing open until we heard back, but he said no, so we don't.
I would move to close the public hearing.
Second,
Okay, let me make a note.
who seconded?
Jim Agrawal.
Jim,
You.
Secretary, want to poll the board on that?
Okay, Rich Perkins.
he's coming.
Oh, sorry.
Stick
Rich?
around, Rich. We like seeing you.
We need your,
I had a ringing phone I had to get rid of. I
Okay.
threw it.
all right, Rich, you're up for a
Rich
vote.
Perkins.
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes?
Jim Agrawal,
Yep,
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. We'll stay in touch, guys.
Okay, we'll see you in a month. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
yeah,
Okay, our next application is Tarcio Rodriguez. And this is 13 Curry Lane, Hyde Park. This is a variance from section 108, 5.15, changing the side yard setback from 25 feet to 3 feet for a new 3-car, 2-story garage on a narrow lot that does not allow for a 25-foot setback. And section 185.15, changing the front yard setback from 50 feet to 40 feet, 0 inches for an addition to the existing single-family home in the waterfront district. Do we have a representative for this application?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, just let me make a note of that. Okay, so may I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Motion, Jim.
And a
McNary,
second,
Second.
McNary,
Second.
and secretary? Hold the board.
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes.
Jim Everwell,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. So, Mrs. Tarcio, could you give the board a description of your application?
Sure, we're looking to build a garage approximately 3 feet off of the side yard. And then we're proposing an addition to the existing dwelling. And that would be roughly 40 feet from the front yard.
Okay. We've had some interest in the second floor of the garage. Can you tell us what purposes that space is going to be used for?
Sure. So we're professionals. So we've lived now through this COVID pandemic, and we've been working from our dining room table. So we've really proposed the space essentially as a workspace for us.
So it's going to be an office.
Yeah, like a home office. It wouldn't be a home base for any home occupation. So we both have individual offices, main offices, but if we ever come into a situation where we have to work from home again, it doesn't work within the existing house.
Common situation.
I'm an architect, he's a contractor, so we have big plans we need to roll out, we need the space.
So, because you're building it, it can't fit under the conditions of a no impact occupation.
I don't believe the home occupation, Herb.
You don't think so?
I don't believe so. It won't be used for running a business because there is office space at the regular business location for each of them. So at this point anyway, it's kind of an accessory space for an office.
Got it. Got it. Got it. All right. All right. Let me make some notes here.
The property to the north of the garage is open field for a residence further north. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And there's a tree line along that lot line, isn't there?
Yep.
Okay, would those be maintained?
Yeah, we're proposing to maintain the tree line.
Okay.
Okay, so let me ask if there are any members of the public in the waiting room that wish to speak on this application. Neil? Neil?
No.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Have we received any written comments from the public?
No, we have not.
Okay. And are there any other questions or comments from the board?
Or what's the address again?
13 Curry Lane.
Tree line.
I believe it's the first house on the east side as after you've left River Road, Rich.
Okay.
Okay, so no questions. Any questions from the attorney
No.
and zoning officer?
No,
Okay, so I think we can just move along with this. The public can see the details of the application by examining the plans, which are online at the town website. That's hydeparkny.us. Go to departments, then zoning board of appeals, and then to applications. The ZBA will accept public comments following the close of the public hearing to be received by 4 p.m. on October 5th, 2020. They should be sent to ZBA Secretary at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, or emailed to zbasec@hydeparkny.us. The board is expecting to have a resolution at the next meeting on October 28th, 2020. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion. Jim.
And a second?
McNary, second.
Thank you. And Linda, will you poll us?
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes.
Jim Agrawal,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. And now for the highlight of the evening,
Oh, yeah, okay.
we have an application from Jennifer Mastroeni, 7 Gary Drive, Hyde Park, New York. This is a variance from 108.4.3 B5, changing distances to allow for the keeping of chickens in the neighborhood district. This application requires many variances and was finally completed this afternoon after a great deal of email between myself and Mrs. McNary, Mrs. Mastrioni.
No, Mrs. McNary's not doing it.
No. I stand corrected. The applicant has provided the number and weight of the chickens. There will be 6 2-pound chickens. For this number and weight of animals, 792 square feet of available land in which to conduct animal husbandry is required. The applicant has provided estimates of the distances from the edge of the area where animal husbandry will be conducted to 9 neighboring residences within 250 feet. She's also provided estimates of the distance to 5 wells and 4 residences within 200 feet of the revised manure storage location. The applicant has confirmed that the chicken coop is more than 5 feet from the side and rear property lines and is less than 10 feet high, thereby meeting the definition of shed and not requiring a variance. So do we have a representative for the applicant here? Do we have a representative for the application?
Me?
Yeah, you.
That's you.
We finally see each other.
Hi.
My pen pal.
I feel like we're pen pals.
So can you give the board a little description of your project?
My project is my chickens. We have a coop in our backyard that we're looking to keep with our 6 hens, and then to extend our run out for the chickens. So that's pretty much what we're looking to do, is be able to make it comply with the zoning laws so that we can keep them on our property.
Okay.
How big with the
Well,
running
just
area?
a moment, Dave. Let me confirm first before we get to the board questions. I do want to confirm that there will be no roosters, only 6 chickens.
Nope, just girlies.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Now questions from the board. Go ahead, Dave.
Yes, I see, Jen, you've got I'm looking at your map now, the proposed fence area of about 800 square feet. Is that the run area for the chickens?
It's like part of it is the run, and then a part of it is the actual like coop structure itself.
Right, but that will contain them. That's where they'll be contained.
Yeah, yep, they don't free range, they'll stay in there.
Okay.
Okay, any other board members?
Yeah, I'm questioning why the manure bin is so far away from the chickens and so close to those folks on Gary, I guess.
Just have, yeah, just the way like the property is designed, we have like it's like a little area and it's all flat. So it's very easy for me to move it, where otherwise I'd kind of have to move it up and down a hill. So it just made it a little bit easier, that's all.
Why wouldn't it be closer to the chickens?
It could be. That was just where we had decided to place it. That was all. There's not a lot when it comes to cleaning. I literally scoop and put it in a bag and I tie up the bag. It's super simple.
So what happens, do you retain the manure in the bags, or do you get rid of those in some way?
We have like a trash can, So
Yeah.
I put it in the bags, I tie the bags and I put it in the trash can. And then when our trash comes, we can roll it out for the trash.
So right now it's in the, I'm assuming that's the northeast corner of your property. So there's,
Northeast corner.
there's,
Yeah.
there's nothing that would keep you from moving it closer to the chicken coop area.
No,
And-
we can move it. Yeah.
And that would not be detrimental to the chickens.
No, not at all.
Okay, all right, all right.
Yeah.
Dave, I believe that the move was made because there's a requirement in the town code that the manure storage has to be 200 feet away from any well and 200 feet away from any residence. And as it was located, it was a lot closer to a lot more residences and wells. And being a small operation, basically a garbage can, you can put it anywhere you want. So I think that's probably why it was the adjustment was made. Is that not true?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's absolutely.
I have a question.
May I, the number that's in the red box is the distance to the property line or the house?
I would have to the house. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up my image right now. To the house, right? Okay. Sorry, I'm asking my husband and just confirming. He's been making all the maps with me.
So what you have is how many people actually touch your property?
How many
Touch?
actually touch our property?
Yeah, other people.
One,
property.
two, three. Three, and one of the three is a vacant house. And then the other properties are across the road from us on Gary Drive.
Now, I guess that would be 4, 6, and 11. 4 and 6 Madison and 11 Gary would be, and also Violet, 547
Violet.
Violet. I'm looking at the map now.
Yeah,
So that's
And-
5, 4.
Oh, I see. 4 and 6. Oh, no, wait. One's Madison and one's Gary.
yeah,
Right.
like you talk about the corner, right? Yeah, one's Madison and one's Gary.
So I guess I'm just not understanding the diagram.
I'm sorry.
Your property line itself,
Mhm.
who is, let's say we start at one corner down where 4 Madison and 2 Madison are. Do both of those properties touch yours?
4 Madison, 2 Madison, yes.
Okay. And then 6 Madison and 11 Gary?
6 Madison and Gary. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to visualize it and I don't have my map up with me.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm gonna just grab it and then I can visualize it as I'm
Okay.
talking to you. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Now, the key thing, Rich, is the distance from the enclosed area where the chickens will be to the residences. And those are the red lines going to the red boxes. And every one of those that's under 250 feet needs a variance.
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at the top of the chart and you see all those houses on Gary, you'll see some green lines. And those green lines that go to the
north.
wells at those residences. They have to be under 200 feet. And the black lines, they go to the residences, and they have to be under 200 feet also.
Under or
Over.
at least 200 feet?
At least, I'm sorry, I'm getting it backwards. And the distance to her own well also has to be at least 200. So all of those black, red, and green lines represent the distances, and the ones from the chicken area, if it's fenced in, it's 250 to a residence, and the others have to be under 200. And all of those will be combined into a single variance for all of those distances. That's where we
Yep.
stand now.
So it's,
So every one of those properties that are on the outside perimeter will be affected by a variance that allows the chickens to be closer than we allow them.
That's right,
That's correct.
including
And-
the ones across the street on Gary.
And it would seem to me also the distance of the well to the manure bin. Along Gary, you have some issues in terms of distance. Would it make more sense just to move the manure bin to the chicken pen area? Then at least the houses along Gary have more space between them and their wells and the bin.
Well, you've got a whole raft of them over on Madison, and I think elsewhere as well. As I recall from looking at a 200-foot circle around that particular point, so it affected a lot more
Okay,
houses if you moved it there.
okay.
Mrs. Mastrani, is that your recollection?
Yeah,
So by moving it to where it's going to be, fewer variances would be needed, which is something that we have to have to consider when we're accepting an application, how to reduce or eliminate variances. So she did
right.
that.
And we've been in contact with the neighbors across the street, anyone that would really be impacted and have the variance. And we've got a ton of support. I know I handed in with my application letters from our neighbors and signed pieces of paper. I'm not sure if everyone got them because I know you guys are working from home. So we have spoke with everyone, and there's definitely no issue. And they have no problem filling out the variance or anything like that. Just so you guys know.
Describe the woods area. That's a different property and that right now is just woods. There's
It's just woods.
There's no residential.
No.
Isn't that the backyard of the 547 Violet property?
Yeah, yep, that's their property.
So there's a house
It's all
on Violet,
woods.
but
Okay,
the parcel of their backyard is woods.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not that it's vacant.
I have a question. Is a garbage can considered enclosed space? I mean, how do you secure the top and it doesn't blow over and spill the contents? I mean, there's enclosed and unenclosed. Is a garbage can considered an enclosed space?
Is the lid secured?
Yeah,
The
because
lid's secured, and when the garbage bags go in, like I said, they're tied. Like I double tie them just so it's easier. So the bags are tied themselves, and then we have like a clip on the garbage can.
So the application is for enclosed manure, not unenclosed manure.
well, then it's too. Okay, yeah, I guess just semantics on enclosed versus unenclosed. Closed versus unenclosed. How does a garbage can fit in there? I guess it's considered closed.
I would consider it closed. We've had applications where there is manure placed in an open-topped dumpster.
Oh,
That was not considered enclosed. We've also had applications where people move the manure directly to a compost pile. That's also not enclosed.
okay, I'd say it's just important to keep the lid secure, as you alluded to.
Definitely.
A question, the manure is taken away by whom? Once you fill your can. It takes it-
Royal.
Okay, all right. And typically, you fill this once a week?
Yeah, that I fill once a week. Yep.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
What's the name of the street that goes from 9G past 547 to Madison?
I believe it's Madison Avenue Extension.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so which houses are on that street?
That
Just-
street has 2 Madison Avenue Extension, which is one of the properties owned by 547 Violet Ave. And down at that intersection is also 2 Madison. I think one thing that might be helpful for the ZBA's review is if we can circulate a copy of Dutchess County's satellite image of all of the lots involved. I think that would clarify things.
That'd be helpful.
Yeah, you're talking about parcel access,
Yes.
Patrick. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, of course. Yeah, let me,
One more question. And you're located on the corner of Gary and Madison? Is that where you are?
No,
No, there is, I'm trying to think of what number he is. 11? 9? Yeah, I think he's 11, Gary, and then we're 9. So the corner's here and then we're right next.
So you're the next house to the east from the corner.
Yes.
yeah, 11 Gary is to your west.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 And in that case, the manure location makes more sense,
Because
Yeah.
it's far away.
Mhm.
but
How many-
Okay,
How many eggs do you get?
Well, I got my first one the other day. So 1 so far.
Okay.
Yeah. My kids were very excited for that 1 egg.
Do you anticipate 1 a day per chicken?
I'm not really sure, honestly, because it's getting cold out now. So they tend to kind of slow down. We hatch them ourselves. So they're still, they're still figuring things out. And so are we. So we're waiting to see. From most people I've talked to, it's about 1 a day.
well, if I was in your position, I would be framing that egg and hanging it on the wall, considering
I
the
should.
considering all of the grief that you and the rest of us have to go through to meet the requirements
I'm
of the
so
town
sorry.
code.
I'll bring you guys some fresh eggs.
Oh, that sounds good. Oh, well, let's see now. I asked my wife about this because she grew up on a farm. You see, I married the farmer's daughter.
I love it.
So board seems to be pretty much through. Do we have any questions from our attorney?
A couple brief points. What are you planning on doing with the eggs? Are they for personal consumption?
Yeah. Yep, for us.
All right. Just a comment. I wasn't able to go over everything we received because we're getting it this afternoon. But I don't believe the board is going to have to act on seeker or do a 239M referral for this application. And I would also just say that our board is discouraged from accepting gifts from applicants. So other than that, I'm fine.
Now,
No,
Patrick, I think that's gifts of any consequence, to be more accurate.
We can go over it offline, but I discourage the accepting of gifts.
I'd hate to be say that I took a bribe of an egg and that affected my voting.
I know, I'm just saying.
I'd have egg on my face, I think.
You don't want it to boil down to a yolk.
Otherwise, if we have a complete application, I think we can set a public hearing.
Yes, I agree. Any final comments from the zoning officer?
No.
No? Okay, moving swiftly along through this festivities here this evening. May I have a motion to set the public hearing for October 28th?
So moved, McNary.
Okay, and second?
Second, Jim Agarwal.
Okay, and Linda, will you poll the board?
Rich Perkins,
yes.
David McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. Okay, the public can see the detail of the application by examining the plans, which are online at the town website. That's hydeparkny.us. Go to departments, then zoning board of appeals, and then to applications. Public comments may be sent to the ZBA secretary at 4383 Albany Post Road, Hyde Park, New York, or you can email them to zbasec@hydeparkny.us. So that wraps up our fun for the evening. And we'll
If I
see.
can make one more comment.
Yes, do.
Sorry. Tad, I believe we confirmed that animal husbandry does require site plan approval. Is that correct?
Yes, if we get past this, yes, there will need to be a site plan approval.
All right. In that case, I would recommend that the applicant consider meeting with the planning board, just because the planning board might have different ideas about where things should be placed. And that would, of course, affect the variances that are needed. And we wouldn't want you to have to come back and get amendments for everything.
Their voice is hollow, Patrick. You're recommending that the applicant do what with the planning board?
I would recommend that can you hear me now?
I
Yeah.
can hear you, but it's hard. Go ahead.
I would recommend that the applicant consider meeting with the planning board, because they're going to need to get approval from the planning board in the future. And during that review process, the planning board might require that some of the structures be moved, and that would affect variances that were needed. And in that case, you might have to come back and get an amended variance from the ZBA. So it might be more efficient if you went to the planning board to get an idea of what they might require.
So there is a pre-application process where you can set up a meeting with the planning board chairman and myself and maybe one other planning board member to review your application. The planning board site plan application is online, so you can download it and fill it out and be ready with your drawings when you come to the meeting.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask the zoning administrator a question?
Yeah, sure.
I just vaguely remember a requirement that was in feet, anyone who would be bounded on the property that was having some kind of activity like this. I don't know if it pertains to this. Was that 150 feet or something?
That's the public hearing notice, has to be mailed to adjoining or property owners within 150 feet. That will occur during the process, the public hearing process, as well as notification of everybody who's impacted by the variance.
Okay, so that would go out before the public hearing and, okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
And that's SOP, Rich. We get in addition to the legal notice, people that are impacted or people are adjoining get a personal invitation. And we do that for all the applications.
I think I just remember at one time it was only adjoining, and even if they could be within 15 feet and not get a notice, but now, okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. I think we're finished, at least for now. So let's.
So the next steps would be that Jen needs to put the application into the planning committee.
Planning board.
Planning board.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can discuss that offline with Tad, and I'm sure we'll figure it all out.
exactly.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank
care.
you.
Good luck.
Okay. All right. So now our final application is the Hudson Valley Hospic, 542 Violet Avenue, Poughkeepsie. This is a variance from 108-5.15, changing bulk regulation scale from 6,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet for a non-single family residence. For a non-single family residence.
Multi-resident.
Well, that may not, I don't know if that's correct or not. We know what it is. It's a hospic in the neighborhood core district. So I believe we have some representatives. Want to bring them in, Neil?
They're in.
We're in.
Okay, good.
Everyone's in.
So I don't see anybody. So will you please identify yourself, your names, who's representing?
Sure. Michael Kaminsky, I'm the president and CEO of Hudson Valley Hospice. Jamie Machado with Mag Designs. I'm the architect.
Want to spell your name, please?
Jamie, Jaime,
Oh,
Machado, M as in Mary, Achado.
Matheo.
M
No,
as in Mary, AC as in cat, Hado.
Got it.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Michelle Zerfus with Burger Engineering.
Michelle. And then just want to give us your last name again carefully.
Z is in zebra, E is in Edward, R is in Robert, F is in Frank, A is in Apple, S is in Sam.
Surface,
I don't have that. I've had starting with Z. Start again.
Z, E, R, F is in Frank, A, S is in Sam.
Zebra, Echo, Romeo, Foxtrot, Alpha, Sierra.
Correct.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. That's radio guys know the right phonetics. So where are my notes here? So whichever one of you wishes to give us a brief description, go give us a brief description.
Sure, I will. Mike Kaminsky, Mr. Chairman. By way of background, about 5 years ago, we took care of about 100 patients per day in hospice. And today we're taking care of over 385 patients per day.
is that in the county?
That's principally in Dutchess, and about a third of the patients are in Ulster County.
Okay.
And for years, we've had patients and families ask to have their patients transferred into a hospice residence facility, a freestanding residence facility. And there is no such thing like that in Dutchess and Ulster counties. And we've had to transfer those patients either down to Orange County or Rockland or across into Western Connecticut hospice to be able to take care of those patients. Sometimes we've even had to transfer them down into the Bronx or up into Albany. And that's not an appropriate way to take care of patients who are dying. Many of the patients who were not able to be transferred for a variety of reasons wound up dying in hospitals and nursing homes and at home. And similarly, many of those patients did not want to be in that kind of an environment. Hospitals are not the place they do not do well with patients who are dying. So at 385 patients per day, we've reached the point where we believe that we can get approval from the New York State Department of Health to build a freestanding 14-bed inpatient hospice facility. We've had a series of meetings with the Department of Health and have received positive responses, although I can't guarantee anything for in terms of the ultimate decision that the Department of Health will make. But early on, positive responses to certificate of need applications are very encouraging. So we then made an application to the town because we have a conditional purchase on 2 pieces of adjoining property owned. All of a sudden, I'm forgetting the owner. On 9G, about a mile north of our administrative offices, of about 6.7 acres. And we've retained Mr. Machado as an architect to design a residence of about 15,000 square feet with a 3,000 square foot basement for support space and mechanical space on this property of almost 7 acres. So we think it's important for us and the patients and the families we take care of, as well as the town of Hyde Park, to be able to allow us to build such a facility.
At the down the street at the hospice by the former bowling, which was a former bowling alley, that's not handling
No.
patients?
Nursing.
That's our
nursing.
administrative office. That's the office that the town about a year ago approved an addition of about 4,000 square feet to be put onto that building because we have grown so much also in terms of our staffing. 5 years ago, we had 85 people working for us, and today we have 250 people working for us.
Oh, okay, okay.
Mr.
Go ahead, Ted.
I just wanted to let you know that the bowling alley building is an assisted living facility. I don't believe it's associated with Hudson Valley Hospice.
Okay, I stand corrected. The hospice is on the other side of the shopping center.
That's correct.
But is that building on the other side of the shopping center? Aren't you keeping people there?
No, sir. No. It's strictly an office building. Strictly an office building.
Okay.
You mentioned 15,000 feet and then 3,000 in the basement, and we're looking for a variance of 30,000.
I can explain that.
Okay.
We're in the process with the planning board.
Yeah.
Building is about 15,000, but it could change. So I put down for 16,000 for that. And then the basement initially is 3,000, but we're going to have to put in water treatment, fire pumps, because there's no public water out there. There's going to be some storage. So 3,000 might do the HVAC, the mechanicals, but we're going to have to put in a lot more equipment. At this point, we're making an estimate that we may need 8,000, half of the building. The building's a one-story building with a basement.
Okay, so the residential part the footprint will be 15,000. You'll have another 15,000 below that for mechanical and other support. Is that correct?
It'll be about 8,000 to 12,000 below it, and then there's the parking spaces that also go into the scale.
Okay.
Now go ahead, Ted.
No, I was just going to say what Michelle said at the end, is that the parking stall space is included in the scale calculation. So it's not just the building, it's also the parking spaces.
Okay, but the footprint itself on the property is 15,000.
Correct. That's correct. It's slightly more than 15. I don't remember the exact number. Mr. Machado knows the exact.
Okay, but that as opposed to 30,000 foot.
Yeah, it's not a 30,000 square foot footprint. No.
Okay. Okay.
Michael, one question I'd like to ask: in the 14 beds, do family members, can they spend the night or spend?
Absolutely. That's the whole, yes, that's one of the core purposes of this facility, is to allow family members or visitors to be able to spend the night. Absolutely. In the room.
In the room, right.
If they want to, yes. And
I think
I tell you what's really unique about the building that Mr. Machado designed for us is every room has a door to access a garden outside. The way the building is shaped and designed, you can get in from either the corridor or from a garden.
Nice.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah. So does our board. Our board loves it.
The variance that we're looking at is for 2 acres?
No, it's scale, Dave. Scale. The commercial building is only allowed 6,000 square feet, and they want 30,000.
But there's 2 acres, right? Or there's 6.
So it's close to 6 or 7.
No, it's 6.75 acres.
So if you have 6.7 acres, that's 7. Let's just round it up to 6. That's 36,000 square feet right there for commercial in those numbers of acres.
It's 30,000 is what they're asking for, Dave.
Yeah, but they spread that over what they owe is.
Well, you're thinking percent impervious. That's a different criteria, and they're well within that, having that much property. There's a scale for the buildings alone for commercial. Take a look in the bulk chart and you'll see it. And in this particular district, 6,000 is the limit. We ran into a similar situation when we had the dollar store. They needed a scale variance also.
So Herb, the scale has nothing to do with the acreage.
No, it doesn't. It has to do with the district and whether it's a commercial use.
All right, I understand.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Okay. If they pave the whole thing over, why then they're running into a problem with percent impervious. It's a different requirement, and they're nowhere near that. So as far as I know, this is the only request before us. And just to state for the public, I'm sure the applicants are aware of the process, that we can go ahead and set the public hearing for our next meeting on October 28th. And again, we'll have to get into all this detail again for the record. This is all preliminary. But the planning board is expected to assume lead agency and proceed with the seeker. Now, that could happen as soon as their next meeting on October 7th. So while we can open a public hearing, we can't close it until they finished seeker. And then following the close of our meeting, if we approve the variance, then the planning board can continue the process and complete a site plan evaluation. So that's the relationship between the two boards. So I think you folks understand that already, do you not?
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Yes, we do understand this.
Okay, Michelle understands it. Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay, that's what's important.
Usually if the commercial applications arrive understanding it better than we do, it's the people that want chickens that don't understand this stuff.
Listen, incidentally, she's going to build that chicken coop about 300 feet from where this facility is going to be.
Oh,
Right across.
So we want some of those eggs.
Oh dear. Okay, so I think that's as far as we're going to go tonight. So
are we in a public meeting right now?
we are not.
Do we need to?
You are in an open meeting. You are
We
not
are
in a
in-
public hearing.
Right.
Okay.
The public is listening, but it's not a public hearing where we hear the public. And that won't happen until we schedule and open a public hearing, which is the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to ask for a motion to set the public hearing for October 28th.
McNary would so move that the public hearing be set.
Okay, got it. Then may I have a second?
Second, Jim Agarwal.
Okay. And will the secretary poll the board?
Could I ask a question first?
Ooh, go ahead, hurry up.
As far as the notice for the public hearing, could we include people that are downstream from this? Because I know that when we did the dollar store, there was quite a bit of discussion about how the water runs in that area. And I think it's going to run directly to the east from that piece of property. And there may be people that are a little over 150 feet. And, but if they're in, if the topos show that they are lower, maybe we should just notify them also, just so they have an idea that something's coming.
Now that's a question for Tad.
Wouldn't that automatically be done?
I'm just going to step in and say that I don't think right now we have the expertise to say whether or not someone is going to be in an affected water or have surface water or their watershed affected.
You don't think so?
We can at the very least notify the people that we are required to, and I imagine that this is going to be under review for a couple months at least. During that time, the town will have posted this online, and I think people will understand that this project is being considered.
Rich is still adjusting from his prior gig as being on the planning board to being on the zoning board.
No, I'm adjusting to a whole development that took place that was 10 feet away from my property that I didn't get notified.
Well, 10 feet, you would get it. Standard, I believe Tad says 150.
At the time I did not. It was
at the time. Well,
it was
I
just-
can't talk to what happened in the distant past.
Yes, I'm not that old, Herb.
Yes, you are.
You're winning in that hand.
All right, let's see. We got a second and a first, and now we need the secretary to poll the board.
Rich Perkins?
And we're opening a public hearing.
Well, we're The motion is to set the public hearing for our next meeting, October 28th.
Yes.
David McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes,
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. Okay, so you folks can take up with the planning board and get the ball rolling there, and we'll see you next month for the zoning board public hearing.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
can't promise you any eggs, but I guess you'll have to survive.
All right. Have a good
Right.
Okay,
Good time, everybody.
thank you.
okay, we'll see you next month. Okay, our favorite part of the meeting. Do we have any other business?
0,
Do we have any other jokes?
0.
Zero. I'm gonna have to take you aside and talk to you about that. May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
And may I have a second?
Second, nobody else raised
Hey,
their.
wait a minute, come on, guys.
Second.
Okay. Okay, and Linda, will you poll the board?
Rich Perkins,
Yes.
Dave McNary,
Yes,
Jim Agrawal,
Yes.
Herbert Sweet.
Yes. So we've come to the end of another fun-filled evening, and I will see you all.
wait a minute.
Yes, Patrick, go ahead. Hold on.
No, I was saying good night, everyone.
Oh,
Night.
Good night, Patrick.
Bye, guys.
Night all.
okay.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.